Hey, how's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you. Notice a lot of people already joining. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Good evening. Um, yeah, Bill, thanks for coming on. Eric, Gunter, Rob, Sarah, Mr. Cole, Gaston. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing good. Just a quick thumbs up. Make sure that everything is good on the stream. That you guys can hear me, you guys can see me. That everything is good. Before we keep going on. Sounds good. Thank you, Sarah. Raph, thanks for coming in. So, today I wanted to go over um, something that I've kind of gone over it a few times, I think, but I've never done like I think a dedicated video. And so what I want to do is talk about this URL battles, right? So, um, basically, what's going on is, let me back up. So, what's kind of spurred this is I get this a lot with a lot of my with Total CMS in particular. It happened for a while, and I kind of have an integrated alert with that where, um, you know, I guess maybe I should back up even more. Back in the day, okay, even just a few years ago, okay, you guys want to see my crazy look, my quarantine hair? Oh boy. Okay, um, go even further back, a few years. Um, we could kind of put whatever we wanted in our URLs, right? It could be, a lot of times it was like, do I have www? Do I not have www in my domain? And, then HTTPS kind of came around and some people had it and some people didn't. And it just kind of just all worked, right? It was just like, it doesn't matter where you go to your URL, whether or not it's, www or I removed the www, it would just serve up the content that I wanted. And yeah, we were good, right? Because our websites were up, right? And that's not necessarily the case anymore, right? So um, you can't just willy-nilly just put kind of whatever you want in your webs in your projects for your domain, and then kind of just go to whatever domain, either www or not www, and expect it to work, right? And then now on top of that, with the complexity of the past couple of years with HTTPS stuff, hopefully you do have HTTPS. We can dive into that a little bit, but yeah, that brings on a whole new situation where in our project maybe we have HTTP, and then HTTPS came along, and if we were trying to reference things like an HTTP resource from HTTPS website, well, browsers aren't going to let us do that, right? So maybe we can go over some of those situations today and talk about. Now, if you just want the quick answer, really quick, the answer to this is you need to choose one. Okay. So let's give you a quick example here. Let me get my screen share set up here. Good morning, Roy and Tim and Robert and Rion. Thank you for coming on. Let me get my screen shared set up here. Boop. There we go. Okay. Let's Oh, by the way, the past couple weeks I've had a little bit of issues in terms of like my machine just kind of going hog wild, and CPU getting thrashed and whatnot, and during the live streams, and it seems like I figured it out, and I let Real Mac know about this, but it seems like it was RapidWeaver 8.862 for some reason. For some reason, RapidWeaver 8.6.2 was just eating up CPU on my machine. I've talked to a few other people, and it's not happening to them, so I'm not sure what's unique about me and why I am special. But yeah, that's what it is, or that's what it was. I reverted back to 8.6.1, and my machine is purring along. Also, this live stream actually, I'm actually streaming it at 1080p this week instead of 720. So hopefully, maybe the picture will be a little bit more clearer for you guys. We'll see. For a while, I was having issues at 1080p, but I thought I'd give that a shot. okay, to go back up. So let's see if that helps out. Okay, so back to this. If you notice, if you go to the Weaver Space website, have a look at my domain, right? Let me zoom in here. We'll notice that it is https www.weavers.space. Okay, so that is the one true URL that I have decided should be the URL for Weaver Space. Okay, now you might be going, hey Joe, a couple years ago, it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, I was kind of a proponent of not having www, just because I was like, yo, we know we're on the World Wide Web. I'll dive in that a little bit later, but the quick answer to that is essentially, if I just had weavers.space without the www, .space is kind of an unknown TLD, right? And if I had just had, here, let me go ahead and edit this. It's hard to use my mouse when I'm in zoom mode here. Okay, so if I were to have this as my URL, okay, a lot of times if I just have weavers.space, let's say on a business card or in an ad or somewhere, right? People will be like, what is weavers.space, right? Because it is an unusual, it's not like weavers.com or something like that, where you know, that we know .com, .net, .org, those things are definitely websites, you know. But because I chose this kind of strange TLD, people don't necessarily know. If I didn't put HTTPS in front of it, if I just had this, you wouldn't know that that's a website. But immediately if I put www in the front, you know, hey, that's a website. I know that, right? Okay. Now, what I wanted to show you is, let me open up a quick text document. Let's just open up code editor here. Let me get out of the zoom mode. Okay. Okay. So we have hts://www.weavers.space. Okay. Let's make this bigger so you guys can see it. Okay, so that is my home base for Weaver Space, right? But there are other combinations that we traditionally tend to potentially use, right? So for example, sometimes I could go to http://www.weavers.space. Okay. We also talked about how a lot of times we might not want www. So we have http:/, right? And then last but not least, here's another combination. Okay. So these are all potential combinations that you might assume could go to weavers.space. Okay. Or, you know, plug in yourdomain.com, right? mycoolwebsite.com. You would expect, no matter if I go to this, any of these addresses, it will work. Okay. Because that's just traditionally how things kind of worked. And what I see a lot of times is if you go to www.weavers.space, it'll work. And if you go to HTTP Weavers space, it will work. Okay. Now, unfortunately, Weaver Space does it the proper way right now. And what I'm going to show that to you right now. So let's go into the browser bar. Let me zoom up in here. I'm going to go to just www.weavers.space. Okay, I'm going to hit enter. Okay. And if we look at the resulting URL, it goes to HTTPS Weaver Space. Okay. Now let's go to this. I'm going to remove the S and go to HTTP. Hit enter. And what you'll notice is it goes to the same URL. Okay. It doesn't serve up the web page as HTTP. Okay. Next off is let's go and remove the www. And if I go to that, what you'll probably notice is it redirects again. no matter what combination of those URLs that I go to, okay, the last combination was what? It was without www and without HTTPS. And there we go. Guess what? It always resolves the same URL. This is very, very, very important. Okay. And we'll go to, I'll try to do some good examples of why that is right in a little bit. Oops. Okay. So again, what we want is I want you to choose one combination of these URLs and only one. And then you need to redirect all the other ones to that. Okay. And to do that, it's really, really simple. Actually, if you go into the, let's see if that's actually in there now. Let's see if it's working. Whatever. Just go to Weaver's. Oops, man, I cannot fat fingers here. Weavers.tips. I think it's. Oops. Weaver tips. There we go. Sorry. This is a great little website put together by Greg Barchard, who is our good friend at Chili Dog Software and Chili Dog Hosting. And he has, if you click on this htaccess, you'll notice that we have a cool little set of things here. And if we look at these combinations, well, you should be setting up HTTPS on your site. And you always want to redirect. You never want HTTP to be the golden source. Okay, never. All right, so we should always be redirecting to the HTTPS version. Okay, so that we go to this force SSL, and Greg is really nice and cool, and he gives us the snippets that we need to put in an htaccess file to do that. Okay, really, really cool. Now, also, if you have Cloudflare, I'm a huge fan of Cloudflare. Cloudflare can do that as well. It's just like a little checkbox in the settings. I even think it's on by default, right? So that's so we always want to force any URL to use HTTPS. And yes, we want to use HTTPS on our sites because Google is now giving preferential treatment to HTTPS because it makes sure that all of our connections are secured, and especially if you have forms and stuff like that on your site, you just want to make sure it's HTTPS. Okay. And if your host, a little side note, if your host is trying to charge you for an HTTPS and SSL certificate, find a new host. That is not cool. Okay. SSL certs should be free. If you're an alternative, if you really don't want to move hosts and you don't want to pay for an SSL cert, check out Cloudflare. I've done already many videos on Cloudflare. Also, Greg and I did a podcast on Weaver Radio on SSL and certificates and all that jazz. So you can listen to that. And we talk about all the various ways you can do that. But you shouldn't be paying for an SSL certificate nowadays. Okay. Your hosts aren't paying for them. They're just using a service called Let's Encrypt, or at least they should be. And it's sponsored by tons of great, huge companies so that everyone around the web can have SSL certificates for free. So please don't be paying for SSL certs. I know things like horrible hosts like GoDaddy try to charge you and upsell you quite a bit of money. I saw some of them spending like $100 a month on their host with GoDaddy because of SSL certs and some other stuff that they were trying to upsell them on. And God dang it. Yeah, that's just wrong. Get off GoDaddy. Okay. If you don't get anything else from this talk today, get off GoDaddy. Okay. Next up. So that was my little rant. Sorry about that. So next up, we always want to force SSL. So our next two options are www and non-www. Which one do you pick? Which one's better? Well, it's really personal preference. I'll be perfectly honest with you. If you Google, let's see, no, what is it? Here, nodubdub.org. No, that wasn't the one. Hold on one second. There, this one. And then I also want this one. Okay. Okay. So there are two camps here. I'll put these in the notes or whatever. So we have yes-www.org, and this gives you their synopsis on why. Oops, what the heck? Why did it do that? And that wasn't. What in the world just happened here? There we go. Okay. So this website says it gives you their synopsis on why you should be using www. Okay. And their big thing is with cookies. You can read about this. Essentially what a lot of the thing is that if you're using cookies on your site, it's better to use a www because basically if you set a cookie on the root domain level, basically a domain without www, then that cookie has access to all your subdomains as well. So that's a really, yes, it's true. But I think it's a very minor thing for most sites and most people out there. But if you want to read that, this is the case for www, and here's the case to drop www. Okay. And you can read on the why. Essentially here, they're saying drop. It's not necessary. We know we're on the World Wide Web, and this is kind of like the same exact arguments I was making years ago on why are we still using www. Okay. And funny enough, I'm now using www on Weaver Space. So, but I kind of explained why that was before, because the .space TLD wasn't useful or wasn't recognizable to many people. So, but the www is, right? So, there we go. Check out these two sites, dropwww.com and yes-www.org. Another reason is like saying www or saying www dot something, right? Just takes a long time. So anyway, I could see it both ways. So it's just a personal preference, whether or not you want to use www or don't want to use it, totally up to you. Okay. But whether or not you use it or you don't use it, you need to make sure that the non-www version redirects to the www version or vice versa. Okay. And Greg has two great snippets here. So here he has a snippet for force non-www. And this will force www to redirect to non-www. Okay. And all these go inside your htaccess file. And this one here will force non-www to go to www. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Now, actually, interesting enough, on the community this week, we had I had someone try to add www to a subdomain, right? So a lot of times, if we go to https let's use like my sandbox URL, right? Sandbox.joeworkman.net. Okay. If you notice, this is just kind of the test URL I use all the time for various websites and testing and local testing and stuff like that. And if you look at this is a subdomain, right? So we'll go off on a little tangent and talk about subdomains a little bit. So again, joeworkman.net is the root domain, kind of like how Weaver Space is the root domain. And I created a subdomain called Sandbox. So it's sandbox.joeworkman.net. And here's a funny tidbit. www is just a subdomain. This is no different than this. It's just we're used to seeing this www as a subdomain because that's how it was used for 20, 30 years, however long it was, right? It's a standard that we're used to. But www is a subdomain, so is Sandbox. They're exactly the same. Okay. Again, www, the only special thing about using www is we're used to it. We're used to seeing it. Okay. So another thing is I saw someone trying to do this. He thought that essentially the rule I was talking about here, he also had to do this, right? So essentially, he was like, oh, do I need to add www.mysubdomain.com? Okay. The quick answer is no. I don't. If you give out a URL like sandbox.joeworkman. Excuse me. If you give out a URL, sandbox.joeworkman.net or something like that, I think once you get down to this third level of domain, you don't need to start adding stuff. I mean, Sandbox is already a subdomain. You don't need to add another level by adding www in the front. I see zero benefit in doing that. No one's going to accidentally, at least I feel, no one's going to accidentally type in, www.sandbox.joorgan.net. I just don't see that happening. You could set up redirects. So you could redirect, this to this or this to that. Okay. But I don't think it's necessary. Okay. The only place I think it's necessary, and it's only for historical purposes, is on this top level where we're going from the top level domain to a subdomain of www. Okay. So hopefully that clarifies some things for you. I do not think we need to start adding www to Sandbox. That is just not necessary at all. Okay. So cool. But if you do have a subdomain like this, you should be redirecting always to HTTPS to make sure that we're always getting the HTTPS version of the URL. Okay. Cool. So let's talk about a little bit about how do we set this up, right? So, I went to, we went to Greg's site. So we were actually here. Let's, I'm going to open up let's open up RapidWeaver and let's do some stuff here. Where is RapidWeaver? Are you opening RapidWeaver? Oh, it's opening somewhere. Oh, there it is. Problems when you have multiple displays. Okay, let's open up my Sandbox site. Rob Mustard, you said TLD in question mark. Okay, good question. While RapidWeaver is opening here, a TLD stands for top level domain. Okay, and that's this little thing at the end. Okay, so space, net, com, org, co.uk. So a lot of those things that you see at the end of the URL. Okay, those are called TLDs. Okay, so yes. Thank you, Eric, for answering that as well. Okay. Let's see, Danny, I've got a multiple domains that all need to resolve to a single URL. Yes. You paid at Mac Highway. Ken, shame on Mac Highway. You should not be paying for SSL certs at all. So, talk to Mac Highway, and either they give you a free SSL cert or you take your business somewhere else. Just my opinion, though. Don't waste your money on an SSL cert. It's going in the garbage. Let's see. Difference between htaccess from the URL redirect and cPanel. Okay, good question, Roy. I don't have I manage a lot of my websites via a terminal and whatnot. So unfortunately, I don't have a cPanel to access to show you. But a lot of domains or posts allow you to do redirects from inside the cPanel. Same thing. So if your host allows you to do redirects from within the cPanel or within their web administration tool, do it that way. You don't need to. It's much easier that way. And I mean, essentially, they're doing the same exact thing. They're adding stuff to your website configuration, your Apache configs, which is the same thing as the htaccess rules. But sadly, not everybody's hosts allow you to set up these redirects. So the htaccess rules make that very simple. But thank you, Roy, for pointing that out. It could be easier than using these confusing htaccess rules is to go ahead and set up the redirects inside your host cPanel if they support that. So thanks, Roy, for stating that. You are 100% correct there. URL. What is the URL strategy for development versus production website? So exactly here. So so sandbox.joorg.net, that is my test site. So I have a subdomain just for testing. Actually on Weaverspace, I have one that as of right now, I don't think anyone can get to it except for me because of some other rules I have set up. But if you go to thefuture.weavers.space, that is some stuff I'm testing on Weaverspace. That's my Weaverspace testing thing. So yeah, a lot of times for testing, I just create subdomains. I'm not going to go down that route right now. But that's a good question. So yeah, I just create these subdomains. You can create unlimited subdomains At least your host should support that. Most hosts should support unlimited subdomains, so you can do testing or all that kind of stuff. Okay. Rob says he'll be, yes. So yeah, check out the cPanel, Rob, and yeah, you should be good to go. Hopefully your host will support that. Else, I'm actually going to go in and show you how to use it in the htaccess file, and it's really not difficult. Okay, not difficult at all. Okay, so let's just go ahead and I'm just going to delete some stuff in here, make this page very quick. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna add in a PDF embed. Okay, a lot of times what I actually, PDF embed was on sale a few weeks ago, one of the deals of the week, and a lot of people got it, and they've been having a lot of issues with URLs. Okay, and I'm gonna display that today. We're gonna play around with that. Hold on one second. I think that I have I'm gonna launch transmit. I think I have a PDF on my sandbox server. Just want to make sure. I forget the URL to it. I may need just to quickly upload a PDF. Oh, there we go. ws.pdf. There we go. It's a simple PDF, but it's a PDF. Okay, I'm going to copy the URL from transmit. We're going to go ahead, paste that in there. Now, if you look here, okay, I'm going to put in this URL, http://sandbox.joeworker.net/ws.pdf. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Safari. I'm going to put that in there, and voila, I have a PDF. Okay, just a simple PDF, but it works, right? Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and publish this page for you. Go ahead and publish this, and we'll twiddle our thumbs while RapidWeaver publishes. I don't need transmit anymore. Oh man, it's got to, okay. Oh, it's got to, while that's uploading 400 files, let's do a quick tutorial on, I know this confuses some people as well. So on my server, this is the folder that contains my website, sandbox.joeworker.net. It's full of a lot of garbage because, again, this is my test server and I upload tons of stuff and I never delete it or clean it off. Actually, about every 6 months, I go ahead and just trash everything and kind of start from scratch. Okay. But here we go. I have a folder, and at the root level, this is sandbox.joeworker.net. If you notice here, I uploaded a file called ws.pdf. And Transmit has this cool feature where if I right-click, I can say copy URL. And if I had configured this connection properly in Transmit knows how to give me the URL to this. Okay. So since this PDF is at the very top of my website, it is just sandbox.joeworker.net/ and then the name of my file, right? So this is just a quick, tutorial on how to warehouse, and this works on PDFs. It works on anything. Okay. Now, if I were to add this to a folder, let's say here I have a folder called stuff. I have no idea what's in this folder. Here, let's go ahead and I'm gonna move this. Oops, that's not what I wanted to move. I'm going to move this SVG image into stuff. Did that work? Okay. So here I have inside the stuff folder, I have a file called ws-title.svg, right? And so let's go ahead into my browser and let's go to sandbox.joeworker.net. Okay. And don't worry about that. Okay, and then remember I had a stuff folder. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in on here. So I had stuff, right? And then inside there, it was what, ws-title.svg, I think, right? So it's just the name of the folder and the file. Hit enter. And whoops, apparently I didn't type that right. Let's see what was it? wstitle.svg. What did I do wrong there? That seems odd. Does have a space in it or something? What? This is wizardry. What's going on here? Read access. Oh, tile. Ha ha ha. It's WS tile, not title. There we go. There he goes. Okay, so there's the SVG. I thought it was title. It's WS tile. I had the file name wrong. There we go. Okay. So really easy to warehouse images. Super simple. And RapidWeaver is now published. Now another way to do this while I'm just giving a quick tutorial on warehousing. If you drop a file into resources, okay. Wow, what the heck is this SVG? That is a crazy one. Not even sure how that got in my file. Oh, look, here's a sample PDF. Interesting. So, if I were to, let's play around with that as well in a little bit. But apparently I have a PDF in here. If I right click and I can say copy URL inside RapidWeaver's resources, and then what I can do is I can then paste that URL directly into here, and then RapidWeaver will upload it, and it should all work. Okay, so we can look at that in a little bit. Okay, so I published that. Let's go ahead and go to Sandbox again. What? I don't have page safe on here any longer. I bet you it's. There it goes. Browser cache. Okay, so here we go. Where's my file? What in the world's going on? What is going on? Okay. So what's going on? So if you notice in my browser bar, I have https://sandbox.joergman.net. What did we have inside of our URL? If you look, I had HTTP, right? So if I were to go to, I actually don't think I have redirects turned on my test domain on purpose. So if I were to go to the HTTP version of my site, we will see that, again, if we look at the URL, it is not HTTPS. And now that the domain matches the PDF in the protocol, we're golden, right? It displays. Okay. So if I were to fix this, the proper solution here is, because we want to use HTTPS, we go ahead and add HTTPS to the PDF. This is the same thing for images, the same thing for font files. It's the same exact concept. Okay. I'm just using a PDF here, but the concept is identical for any sort of web asset. Okay. Again, warehoused images. It could be font files. Those are probably the two biggest ones, right? So web, font files. Yeah, 248 files. What the heck? I only changed the URL. Okay, so well, when that publishes, that's going pretty quick. So again, when this finished publishes, I will then be able to go to https sandbox.joergman.net, and that PDF will be displayed. Okay, hopefully that helps out. Okay, so what I wanted to show you now, after this publishes, is how we can then display, or how can we manage that htaccess file. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple different ways we can do that. But having the URL stored as HTTP, doesn't that create a non-secure page overall according to the browser? Correct. And that's exactly, I did that on purpose. Okay. And I did that on purpose so that it broke. And the solution again is to change the HTTPS in the PDF URL. So yes, it broke it. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to show you what it looks like when it breaks. Okay. So the reason browsers do this, okay, actually, if we go into our browser and we open up the dev inspector, let's go to the console. Ah, shoot, it's going to fix it once I refresh it. It's going to show us. Darn it. Okay. Should have showed you this before. Prior, when we were on the HTTP PDF, let's see how long that's going to. Actually, you know what? Let's see if it's only going to publish one file for us. Yes. Cool. Publishing was quick that time. Okay. So I changed the PDF URL back to HTTP. Okay. And it's broken. And what I want to do is I wanted to show you why it's broken. Okay. And if we look inside here, these are all done by the browser. Okay. And here we say a fetch cannot load due to access control checks. Okay. Not allowed request. Right. So you see all these kind of these access permission denied things. And that's all of that is because we're trying to load a non-secure asset, okay, which is that PDF without HTTPS on a secure web page. If my web page is secure, henceforth HTTPS, okay, it's secure. The browser's not going to let me load any non-secure assets. So if we look at the browser console, we would notice that straight from here on why everything is failing. Okay, it will not load the non-secure asset on a secure web page. Okay, so thank you for bringing that up, HomeSmart. Cool. So let's go ahead and fix that again. And publish really quick. So now I want to show you how we can set up this, at least the reader. I mean, this is my subdomain, so I'm not gonna have that www redirect. But right now, if you notice, I didn't have HTTPS redirects turned on. Let's go ahead and do that via the htaccess file, okay, so that we can really show you easily how to do that. And first off, I'm going to show you how to do it. How can we do it? Let's do it from RapidWeaver. So actually, in RapidWeaver 8, there was a cool new feature. It's inside your publishing settings, and you can say edit htaccess file. Okay, I'm going to click edit htaccess file. And this is my test server, so I don't have much in there. Okay. And what we're going to do is let's go ahead and bring back oh boy, someone rang the doorbell. Woo. Someone rang the doorbell and the dogs are going crazy. Okay. So let's go ahead and turn off htaccess for what do we want? Oh, force SSL. That's what we want. That's what we're working on. Okay. So if you notice here, we have force SSL. I particularly like method number 2. So I'm going to copy and paste this. I'm going to copy that. And we're going to paste it right there. Okay. And oops, if you notice here, it has HTTPS example.com. We have to change that, right? So we want to change that to be sandbox.joeworkman.net. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to click save and upload now. And voila. Okay. So now if I were to go to sandbox.joeworkman.net, I thought I fixed that. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I did fix it. All right. So now if I go to, if I remove the HTTPS and go to, what you'll notice is, whoops, why didn't that didn't redirect like I thought it should have. Oh, there it goes. Again, browser cache. So here we go. If I were to go to http:/sandbox.joework.net, hit enter, it redirects me to the secure page. And all that was done by me clicking on this edit htaccess file and pasting those redirect rules from Weaver tips. And remember, you have to customize the domain, right? So I had to make sure that my domain is in here instead of example.com. Okay. Let me show you an additional way. That's a really great way. Now, if you were to edit this from inside RapidWeaver, one benefit here is that RealMac actually kind of saves versions for you, right? So you can easily quickly revert back to a previous version of your htaccess files and whatnot. And what you do is before you click save and upload, you can type in a little description about what you did. It's kind of cool. Really nice little feature, actually. Okay. Another way, and I'll have to be honest, this is how I normally do it, just because it's how I've done it for years, is I use Transmit. You can substitute your favorite FTP app. Let's go ahead and close some of these windows. And if you'll notice, there's a .htaccess file at the very top level of your website. And that's just a text file. So if you right click and you can say open with, and then in here you can just choose your favorite editor. I'll choose VS Code. And here's the file, right? Let me shrink it down a little bit. There it is. It's just a text file. And what's kind of cool is I can just select, modify it. And with Transmit, Transmit supports inline editing. So all I have to do is make my modifications, save it as if the file was local, and Transmit will automatically upload the changes to my server. So that's really cool. Okay. Again, that's Transmit. A lot of other Forklift and other FTP apps support the same exact thing. Okay. So yeah. Hopefully this cleared up some issues or some confusion for some people today. Just a quick recap. Again, we have here, let's just go ahead. So a quick recap, right? We have potentially 4 different types of URLs that we can go to, right? HTTP versus HTTPS. With that, always go all in with HTTPS. Okay, you always want to serve up your web content with HTTPS. And then where you have to decide is whether or not you want www or you don't want www. Okay. Again, check out those 2 websites I mentioned. I'll try to remember to put those in the YouTube comments. Okay. So you can kind of read those or just Google them. And yeah, choose which one you want. Then after that, go into your host cPanel, see if they automatically support redirecting for you. So I know a lot of hosts do that in their cPanel or their hosting administration panel. You can just quickly say, always force www, always force HTTPS, and they're just little check boxes that you can, then you're good to go, right? If your host doesn't, then you can use the htaccess method, which I showed you how to do that via RapidWeaver or with Transmit. Really simple to do. And yeah, and just, I guess here, another thing actually to talk about it is where is all this data configured inside RapidWeaver, right? So let's go ahead and bring up my project again really quick. Okay, so inside RapidWeaver, there's actually 2 places to configure your website address. Okay, in the settings, if you go to the general settings over on the side, okay, you'll notice here you have website address. Okay, now there's another place you can configure it, and if you go to your publishing settings, there's a website address in your publishing settings as well. Now, a quick tip is if you don't define a website address here, it will use the one inside your general settings. However, if you put one inside your website address in your publishing, this will override whatever is inside your general settings. Okay. Now, why do we have this inside of our publishing settings? Well, in RapidWeaver, it's kind of cool. You can actually define 2 different publishing destinations. And let's say if I publish it to my testing server, I want the web address to be something different, like testing.joework.net. Okay. So it's really cool. RapidWeaver has the ability to publish to multiple servers. And then you can actually change the web address based on what server you're publishing to. So that's kind of nice. Not everybody has that. Most people don't, actually. Most people are going to be publishing to one server. And at that point, you can set it here or not. But you probably want to definitely set it inside your general settings. But just remember, if you do have it set in both places, to make sure that if you're updating it, right? So if you want to make sure that you have whatever URL you decided to use in here. So https / www or not www with your domain. Okay. And make sure you update that in both the publishing settings and the general settings. Or if you just want to make sure it's always the general settings, just delete it inside your web address settings in the publishing settings. Okay. So yeah, that's how we get all of that stuff set up inside of RapidWeaver. Okay. Cool. So yeah, let's see if there's any. Let me see if there's any other questions that I could have missed. Where'd you get the cut and paste htaccess snippets? That's on weaver.tips, Danny. I have htaccess snippets templates in I have the htaccess snippets as templates in RapidWeaver. Oh, cool. Yeah. So what Eric was saying is what he did. Here, let me share my screen again. Okay, so what Eric did was inside RapidWeaver, there's a little snippets pane, actually. Okay. And you can actually create your own snippets. So you can create an HTML snippet or whatever, and you can just paste those snippets directly into here. So you can just say that, and then you can just say cool. There we go. So now I have an HTTPS redirect inside my snippets inside RapidWeaver. Yeah, snippets are nice. I don't really use them too much inside RapidWeaver just because I have other ways of managing snippets. But yeah, that's a nice way of doing it, storing your little redirect rules directly here. Obviously, again, make sure that you update the web address to be your domain instead of example.com. And so that's a great way. But again, the website for that was weaver.tips. And I'll make sure to put that in the notes as well. Peter says thanks, and it was validation that what he's doing is correct. So cool. Great. Any other questions? Let me know. We can even talk about whatever you want. I can stay on for a few more minutes. If you guys have any questions and you want to see anything cool, been working on Total CMS 2 all week. Don't really have anything to show you yet, but I have been working on it pretty hard. It's all back-end code stuff right now, but I'm really excited about CMS 2. Cool. Well, if no one else has any other questions, I think we'll call it an early one today. We'll end it a few minutes early. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you guys on Friday. Our Hangouts are every Friday afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Pacific. Join us. We're on Zoom, and it's just kind of like a free-for-all. Just kind of everyone comes in, and we just chit-chat about web and RapidWeaver and anything else that comes up, right? All kinds of stuff. So also check us out on Instagram. We've been posting some really, really amazing stuff on Instagram. Some really great little tutorials, little tips and tricks, videos of some just amazingly beautiful sites built with Foundation and Foundation 6. And yeah, enjoy that. Make sure you follow us. It's just instagram.com/weavers_, all one word. And we've been cross-posting some of that on our Facebook page and some of that on Twitter, but yeah, if you can follow us over there, that'd be great. We're just trying to build a little bit of following over there. Maybe I'll start be doing some stories and lives over there as well. Just some quick little tips and tricks, maybe some videos that talk about some of the tips that we post every day. So anyway, talk to you later. I hope you guys have the great rest of your week. Go out there and make something great. And I know you can. And hopefully we'll see you on Friday at the Hangouts. Take care, everyone. Bye.